one to Ashley.
Hello, everybody. It is, what day is it? It's Hump Day.
Hump Day.
We don't have my camel video. That makes me sad. I was hoping
Mike,
that we
Mike,
had.
Mike.
Oh, we
What
do.
day is it, Mike?
Right on cue.
Let's guess what today is.
Right on
Why do
cue.
you love Hump Day
Hump
so
Day.
much?
I love this commercial. I just love that commercial. It just made it's Hump Day. The camel walks around the office and he says, "Do you know what day it is? Do you know what day it is?" And then he gets one coworker to finally say, "It's Hump Day." I'm Ashley Nicole Moss. It is Hump Day. I got Brandon Marshall with me. I got Corey in the cut. We got Woo out west. BC in the back, who I think actually might be mic'd up and ready to.
Hey, he put on his best hat too. Look at him. He knew he was gonna be on today. BC put on his favorite hat.
And we have Mander Legend, who we will never see. He is like the Oz behind the curtain in the Wizard of Oz.
Was he in the background?
Hold on.
Was he briefly in
happened?
the
Did we
background? He probably
did we
ran
see
out
him?
of the view. We got an arm of his hand. You'll never know what he looks like.
We'll never know. And shout out to the team holding it down across the country. We got JP in the West Coast. We got some people down in Texas. I think Jazz is in Texas, right?
No, Jazz is in
Shelly's
LA
in
and
Texas.
Shelly's in Texas.
Shelly is in Austin, Texas, and got it. We got Jazz and JP holding it down on the West Coast, so we are a bi-coastal operation here, people.
Right.
We got a lot to get into, a lot of cool stories, a lot of in the news stories, some culture stories, some football stories, some
That's right.
basketball stories, and I'm gonna throw it to Corey, who's gonna break that all down for us.
That was a
Absolutely.
great way to start Wednesday, Ashley. I think you
Hump
got us
Day.
over the hump.
See
You
what
gave
you
us
did
the
there.
energy. Like I came
know,
in
that was
and
a
I
nice
didn't have
pun
the
he
energy.
did.
Like
I got my grande
Jeez.
matcha this morning. That's why.
that's what it is. But like your intro got me over the hump. Actually,
There we go.
Yeah.
You ready to go now? Huh?
I'm ready to go.
Let's
We
do
up.
it.
We up,
Let's do
baby.
it. Well, listen, Brandon's going to give you guys his top 5 receivers under 25. That's going to be a good one. And we're also going to look at George Pickens, a.k.a. NFL Youngboy, and the ridiculous catch he made yesterday. We got to break down that.
Wow.
You know, we got some film to watch there, but we're going to start with some news of the day. And Connecticut Sun forward Alyssa Thomas, she made history. Y'all got to hear what she did. Yesterday, she became the first WNBA player in history with back-to-back triple-doubles. And on top of that, she was also the first player ever to record a triple-double with 20-plus points, 15-plus rebounds, 10-plus assists. I mean, she was going off. They got the dub over the Minnesota Lynx and the Connecticut Sun. They're number 2 in the Eastern Division. They're balling. How do y'all feel about this, yo? She's another up-and-coming star in the WNBA. And, I mean, we're just seeing the quality of basketball over there is looking good.
Well, first of all, I just want to say something. I don't know if you guys noticed. Look at the screen. It's a blackout.
It's a blackout. What
A
do you mean?
blackout.
Look at us.
Oh, right.
All black,
this is
everything.
cool.
Dressed in all black like the Omen.
Oh, maybe we should do
right?
this.
This is
That's
crazy.
actually a vibe.
This
That's
was
actually a
not
vibe.
planned, people. Like, I
Right.
saw everyone in the chat saying, oh, they all dressed in black today, except for Woo. I don't know what happened.
What was in white?
Woo's got a white t-shirt.
I mean, don't throw me under the
Repping
bus.
the brand, but like,
It's hot outside.
This was not a plan, by the way. We just all happened to be dressed in black. This is kind of dope.
It's pretty tough. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah.
Should we
nice-
all
nice
start
look.
wearing the same color?
So,
Man,
yes,
that's-
yes,
Just
I like that.
Drop it in
Like
the-
all
in the-
different
in the-
like
in the group chat
variations
there
of like
before.
each day is a theme. Like one day it's cat. Oh yeah, BC didn't get the memo either. Mandeville got it. He's got black on.
Uh-oh.
Look, he can't show his face.
Uh-oh.
We're getting closer.
So listen, this is big. Can you throw that back up? This is dope, right? Whenever an athlete
sure.
does something that's never done before, you want to celebrate that. An athlete wants to should embrace it, but get over it quickly, right? Like I always say, you can't hang from the rafters when things are good, and you can't put your head down when things are bad. You got to try to stay even keel. So she should be celebrating this in her young career. This is a big feat. This is a big deal. You got to think about all of the superstars that came before her, paved the way. Like we have some goats. Well, I can't say no. We don't have goats.
Do
we
we
have
want
a
to?
goat.
Can we get Brandon a tissue? You sound a little stuffy.
Well, yeah, but I already blew my nose before,
okay.
so like I'm just stuffy right now. So like, there's a lot of, if you really look at it, Woo, can you pull up some of the top WNBA players ever, like ballers, right? Like that never did this before. Yeah. So that's big. And then also there's some news here too, right? Like some news that piggybacks off of this. She got engaged to her teammate. right?
Did she?
Yes, and this is a big deal. So she got engaged to D Boner, if I'm saying her name right. That's her name. That's her.
Are you saying it right?
I'm
not familiar with
Dewana.
I'm not familiar who got engaged.
Dewana,
I don't want to mess that up.
Boner.
Okay.
Bonner. Did I say that right?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Let me go ahead and
Bonner,
can we
Bonner.
fact check that?
That's never been done before
It
as
does look
well,
like Dewana,
right?
Bonner.
Like,
Oh, okay.
think about
Bonner?
that.
Right.
Yeah, like so they're
Bonner.
making history all year, and I'm not trying to be funny here. You know, you guys do know I like to get a little messy, but she goes and
Yeah,
does this,
Bonner.
and she also goes in and gets engaged to her teammate. So history in the making there.
Yeah, I think this is really dope. If you're not watching the W, you're missing out on some incredible basketball. Especially, for people who may be thirsty for the NBA, and obviously that's not coming around anytime soon, and football hasn't started yet. For people who say, "Oh, there's no sports on right now," the W are playing absolutely fantastic games, down to the wire games. The women are doing their thing. They're just expanding, I think, their fan base each and every season. I encourage everybody, if you've never watched a WNBA game, just watch one. Like, watch one of the primetime games.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend starting with, like, one of the non-primetime games unless you're a true fan, a true basketball fan. But if you're, like, dabbling and getting into it, watch one of the primetime games, and I promise you'll be hooked.
Right.
It's incredible basketball, incredible skill set, incredible storylines. The women are they're handling their business. They're doing their thing. I'm just in awe of them. The Aces are going to be the next dynasty in sports. They're killing it. It's a lot of dope basketball happening right now in the WNBA.
The last thing I'll say to this before we move on to the Dallas Cowboys, Ashley, Ashley's not just talking, right? Like, Ashley, I'll be honest with you, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have watched. And I would have said, like, that's just us just trying to support. But the game has evolved. It's so much more dynamic. It's better. There's more storylines. There's more superstars. Just the swagger that our players have now. Like, I love it. Like, I mean, the game was always good, but I just think now with the brands coming in, even the production, like, that's a big part of it, Ashley. Back in the day, the freaking production, the broadcast was terrible. Like, they weren't even invested in that. So I think that has a lot to do with it as well. But moving on, more news of the day.
Wait, Brandon. Before we do that, I want to get. There's another woman we need to give some flowers to, and that is our very own Ashley Nicole Moss.
Me?
Yes, you, because she was just featured in an Essence.com article, right? That highlighted her just being someone who's paving the way for the next generation. So we definitely wanted to give our flowers to Ashley. I know we have a little screenshot of that article there. So when you get a chance, definitely take a look at the article. Ashley, I mean, can you talk real quick about that experience and that coverage?
Yeah, it was super surreal. When you throw the screenshot up, you'll see what the heck. Oh, there it is.
Well, we can cut off her head.
No, we probably need to take that.
It's the lower third.
Yeah,
the lower third.
Is that even possible?
We could. I think we could take it
Let's
off.
take that lower third off. Let's see. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So
so
that's
cool.
that's our very own No Cap Visions right there. He's featured on the bottom. Obviously, I Am Athletes also in the header. So everyone's getting a piece of the pie here. No, this is very cool. Essence is a huge publication. I grew up reading the magazine. Some of my favorite, women in the industry have been featured in this magazine, on the cover. And then obviously when it went over to web, they've had articles about them. So it was a really dope article, about kind of paving the way for the next generation, being part of the new wave of journalists and, doing things my own way and not going the traditional route, and how it's, turned into a career for me. And it's just really dope to be in such historic publications like that, especially, Essence has always done a great job in uplifting Black women, women of color. So this is very cool. So thank you guys so much.
Absolutely.
Congrats, Ash.
Flowers.
Thank you.
Hey,
Yes,
so why did you do that, Corey? Like, you said, I want to give another woman flowers, and you teed us up for the article. Why didn't you have, like, real flowers in here? Like, she's right here. You could have gave her real flowers.
That would have been smooth.
Right.
It was a last second thing. I discovered it. Shout out to JP, but he sent this to us probably like 3 minutes before the show, so I just wanted to rush that and get that in there.
But we got Shell's gas station right across the street. Right. We got her at Shell's gas station.
That's
Rose.
okay. I'll take it
Get her
in
a plastic
smooth.
rose.
Right. All right. We're gonna make sure we bring you some flowers tomorrow. No, keep going, Ashley. We are proud of you, and thanks for always bringing us along. But, like, You got it. We're proud of you. All right, moving on because we don't want to continue to talk about Ashley and get our head even bigger than what it already
My head's
is.
not big. That's Branson.
The Dallas Cowboys. This is a topic that Ashley may or may not appreciate. Ashley, yesterday in Oxnard, California, the Dallas Cowboys was in camp again, right? They put on the pads yesterday. A lot of teams put on the pads over the last 2 days for the very first time. When you do that, things get chirpy. Things get a little bit testy.
Chirpy or chippy?
Both. Both. You can say chirpy.
Chippy?
Chirpy is like, we're going back and forth.
Okay, like a bird.
Chippy is more like, you're chirping, but you can slap somebody in the helmet. It might get a little physical.
Oh, okay.
So, but things are getting chirpy, chippy, testy. It's all of the above. I don't know if we have the video here, but we can throw to the video. They're practicing red zone in the pads, right? So you have Dak Prescott in the red jersey. He's not under center. He's in the shotgun. He drops back. There's nothing there. He's probably sacked, but he scrambled. This is called the scramble drill. Nothing's there. 97, I don't know who he is. He touches him. He tags him off. And now you got Trayvon Diggs, who just signed a $97 million deal, $94 million deal. Why did Dak Prescott just throw the ball at him? Run it back. Run it back, BC.
Is there an audio to this?
Yes, there is.
Audio.
There is?
Yeah, there's some
Can
audio.
I hear the audio?
So I'm talking over the audio. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know we had audio here. Okay, but if we run this back, listen to what Trayvon Diggs said to Dak Prescott, and this is going to tell you why Dak threw the ball at him. And this is at training camp yesterday.
That's done.
Boom.
Go, Dak!
Go, Dak!
Go, Dak!
Go, Dak. Dak ain't gonna
Oh.
It's thrown around there.
Oh my
Here's a
goodness.
light throw.
Did he say shut your bitch ass up? Is that what
Yeah,
he
he
said?
did.
Yeah. He did.
That is
so
what he said.
so the first thing he was saying was box. So let's talk a little ball. Box. Okay. And then he said, Dak said something. We didn't catch that audio. And Diggs proceeded to say, shut your BS
You can
up.
bitch ass up. Just say it. It's a direct quote.
I know. I think all right.
say
You
that?
can't curse in the first 8 minutes of YouTube.
We're out of
video.
that.
Oh,
We're
so
out
we're
of it.
out of
And
it
that's
now.
not
in
a
the
curse
clear.
word. Both of those are in the dictionary.
Oh, they're not considering that a
No.
curse word? Okay.
Technically-
So he said, shut your BASS up. And that's like a big deal, okay? So, Ashley, I believe this is
makes me
good.
sad.
No, this is good.
Okay.
All right. Why is this good? Because in training camp, you want the ultimate competition. You want your guys going back and forth. In training camp, offenses and defenses don't like each other. We're on the same team. We're wearing the same logo. But right now, we're all trying to make the team. We're trying to get bigger bags and bigger contracts. And right now, we're competing. We're trying to make each other better. So this is what you want to see. Now, do I want to hear Diggs say this? Probably not. But I'm not shying away from it. If I'm a coach and I'm Jerry Jones, I'm actually smiling. Why is this? Dan Quinn comes from where? Dan Quinn got he was head coach in Atlanta, but remember, he got his claim to fame is the Legion of Boom. Dan Quinn was the defensive coordinator there. We talked about this yesterday, but it wasn't on camera. It was after, Ashley. Remember the competition. Russell Wilson and Richard Sherman and the Bennetts and all those guys. They used to go at it every single day, cursing, fighting, all of that. So Dan Quinn probably is injecting a little bit of that Seattle Seahawks type of competition that Pete Carroll is famously known for. And now you're seeing why this defense flipped from a couple years ago, and you can attest to this. This defense was worse. They were the worst defense in college football.
No, we were.
Yes, you guys were.
No,
3 years
I
ago.
was going to say we were a pretty crappy defense.
So,
We just put all our money into the offense and the offensive line.
Right.
Never into defense.
So the worst defense in college football. Dan Quinn comes in 3 years ago. They have Parsons, Diggs, and now they're top 10 defense, right? So I like this. We both picked the Dallas Cowboys to win it.
I do every year, to be fair.
Okay, well, for me, this actually validates my pick.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this also. I think that one of the things that, the language may be a little, I don't know. Dak's tough enough to handle it. But I would say I can understand the frustration of the defense when they see Dak do things like this. Because if you go back to last season, and this is one of my frustrations with Dak, and you guys know I'm a diehard Dak Prescott fan. I bleed blue and silver. But it seems a lot of the times the defense has to bail him out, one. And two, the defense a lot of the times is on the field a lot longer than they should be, more times than they should be in a game because the offense consistently goes 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And it makes it difficult for the defense to do their job at the most efficient way possible because they're exhausted. And that's one of the frustrations, and that's one of the reasons why when we lose games and it comes down to the defense, a lot of fans, including myself, can't blame the defense because they've done more than enough throughout the course of the game. So I can understand the frustration. It's like, we're going to do our job, Dak. We are going to make sure that we do our job. You got to do yours. And 3 and outs and playing soft and, throwing the ball away and just not doing what you can do offensively is only making our job more difficult, and we're not going to keep bailing you out. You got to be better. Right. And I understand the frustration because it's a frustration that I have had. Right.
And Ashley, I agree with you there. But like I said, I love this competition. There's some people asking, what is box? What is box? Because that's what Diggs was saying. Box, box, box. So basically, when you're in a bunch or a tight split and you have multiple receivers on one side in that type of bunch split, then with the defense, and this is universal, they go into a box. And basically what that is if this wide receiver on the outside go in and this one goes out, the DBs in the defense, they don't chase guys. They box.
Can we get a visual? You and Corey do it. Can we do a visual?
I wish we were in the studio.
Can we get a wide? We got a wide shot. There's plenty of
right
space.
Here, right now. No, I can't.
Show the people how to do it.
To his defense, we kind of need more bodies. Too, to kind of
we need more bodies and we need more space.
Yeah, a lot more space.
If I stand up right now, my head's
just give the people a visual.
I will say this.
Can we do it with 3 people?
When we move into our new studio, because during the football season, we will be in a beautiful studio come on Mondays and Thursdays. We're going to have a lot of space to do this.
I think y'all can show the people. There's plenty of space here.
It's tough. If she understood the concept of the box.
I'm saying, help us understand the concept. You visually show us. You're visual learners.
I can't. So box. So I can't, Ashley. I can't.
I know. I feel him. You really can. You really.
So, but anyways, we can move on to the next news of the day. Mm-hmm. But I love this, Ashley. I think this is a great sign for your team. It's not my team. I'm cheering. It's not that I'm cheering for you guys this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just.
You're not rooting against us.
It's my Super Bowl pick. So I am going to be following this team closely. Even the littlest things like this. This is a big deal, but I love it.
Yeah. Can I actually mention? I think this is actually good, right? Because what do you think opposing teams are going to be saying to Dak?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, his teammate is there. They doing their thing. But imagine what
I'm sure they've been saying that to Dak though.
But that's not it, though. Here's the biggest thing. Like, you're going to get that in games. And you making it to this level, you deal with all that, right? Mm-hmm. And then you deal with something that's on your team. But for Dak Prescott, this is Dak Prescott. This is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of times, man, we don't mess with the quarterback. You don't say shit to the quarterback. So this is a big deal. But the reason why I like this is because of the competition in practice. Don't come in practice half-assing. Mm-hmm. This is where we get better. The games are easy, woo. Practice is where we get better. Mm-hmm. And so for them to go out there, be paid. Trayvon, he can sit down right now. He's chilling. He got $100 million. He don't have to go this hard. He don't have to care this much. You see a lot of guys get the bag and just tail off. Not them. So for them to have this type of competition here tells me, it should tell everyone else that they are gunning for the Super Bowl. They know that it's Super Bowl or bust. And so I love it because the practice, that level of competition and ferociousness out there is where it needs to be for a champion.
All right, moving on, guys. I got a cool story out of Panthers camp. So Bryce Young, rookie quarterback, was speaking with media. It had to be either yesterday or the day before. But he explained that during his time at Alabama, he had a little part-time job. And this was the quote. He said, honestly, I guess to give some more context, he worked as a DoorDash driver, and this is what his quote said. He said, honestly, I would only have a mask on and a hoodie, and I would only accept drop it at my door orders. The top pick of the, forget that, but he said, for the most part, I never got recognized. It was before NIL. I just wanted to have a little extra money in his pocket. So as he said, it was in 2020, so it was during like the pandemic time. Right. So guys, just looking for different ways to put money in their pocket. So I thought that was cool, huh? What you think?
It's good honest work. I've worked at Bath and Body Works. I've worked at Office Depot for like a week. I hated that job. I hated working at Office Depot. True story. When I worked at Office
Ashley,
Depot,
can you get that big box?
it was during like back to school shopping, which is the most hectic time at Office Depot.
She said 1 week.
No, like maybe 2 weeks tops. I think I maybe got my first paycheck and I quit. Like you had to stand up all day. It was horrendous. I worked during like back to school, so it was like I think I started in like August, and that's when they're the
literally
most
probably
busy.
the worst time of the year.
Worst time of the year, and I got like basically like fooled by this guy paid for a bunch of school supplies with a counterfeit $100 bill.
Wow.
And I didn't mark it. I was I was like 20 maybe, or no, I was like younger than that. Didn't mark it, and I got in trouble for like not marking it. It was like this whole thing. I worked there, but true, when I was on radio before I started at Sports Illustrated, I was actually, a lot of people don't know this, I was working 2 jobs. I worked at an optical during the day, and I worked at radio like in the afternoon until night because I was only hired part-time on radio, and it wasn't a lot of money. So I would work from like 9 to like 2 at the optical, change my clothes in the bathroom, rush over to the radio station, work from 3 to 7, and I would do that like 4 days a week trying to like break into the industry. And I did that probably for a year and a half before I got my job at Sports Illustrated.
You know what? This is, I don't know if it's in the Essence article.
I tell the story about how like I worked a bunch of jobs in between my dream jobs trying to land like one. It was a lot.
It's tough out there.
But that's what comes to mind when I hear this story and this news, Corey. Right? It's like it takes me back to my time on college campus and the way I needed to hustle to make ends meet and survive.
What jobs did you have?
I'll tell you that, but like, you know, listening to you, Ashley, it reminds me of like Stephen A's story, right? Like Stephen A just went on his podcast last week because someone said something to him, and he's always going back and forth with trolls. And he was like, "Do you not know my credentials and me working here?" And like he really described his way up. So like obviously, Ashley, like you've been in the game for a while, but you still have so much more to go. So it's cool to hear that story of like, you know, look, I was working here, then I'm changing clothes in the bathroom, going here, right? So like a lot of times we don't have the backstory, right? We think sometimes people just show up. No, whatever you want, you got to hustle, you got to go get it. So that's cool. And then also to get back to Bryce Young. So Bryce Young, Corey, like it just takes me back to my time on campus, right? So like on campus, my hustle was playing Madden video games, right? Like there was no
people in Madden.
People got to understand, you don't even have time. Like for him to do this, you don't really have time to work. Like you don't have time to do this type of job. So when I say Madden, we would play and bet.
Like
and so,
tournaments?
Yeah, so no, we'd be sitting in the dorms.
Oh, you bet like you're
Like
right.
bet on the game.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we're betting like our cards, like that had like little night chips on it, right? So you can go to the vending machine, you can go to the UCF store to buy things. So like we would bet that. And so, you know, a lot of times I'll be up, sometimes I'll be down. And you know, in the summertime, there was one particular summer where I would wash cars on campus. We would make a couple hundred. We would go to off-season training, and then me and Darcy Johnson would go and wash cars on campus, and that's how we make money. You know what else this reminded me of, Corey? It reminded me of like how you started here. I called you up right in the pandemic, and I was like, yo, I'm building this thing. I would like your help. What are you doing right now? You said, yo, I'm working at Uber Eats. I said, shit, I might have something a little bit better for you, but like, can you relate to this? And like, what are the challenges when you're on the road and delivering food?
Well, no, I relate to this, and I relate to Ashley's story too, because it was something that I was doing at the time in between jobs, but it was also, even once I started working with you, really, it was still something I didn't really, you know, put to the side, because I still, you know,
Damn,
you're
I
still
know
trying
news to me.
Yeah, you're still trying to make ends meet. So it's like, you know, the job that I had at the time, it was, you know what it was paying, right? So, so I wanted to supplement that income with the Uber Eats, and honestly, during the pandemic, Uber Eats was a pretty decent gig if you had some free time on your hands.
Yeah.
Like you could pull in close to like $700 a week if you're really working, right? Like, so to answer your question, like how was it on the streets? Huh?
What was your biggest week? How much money have you made in 1 week of delivering food?
Like around that, like around 600-700.
That's good.
Yeah. But
Is
like
it all in tips, or do you get like paid by the hour also?
you get paid like for each order, and then they tip you too.
Got you.
So I mean, if you can get like 10 orders in a day, that's $100. Like you
Which is
make
about
100 in
reasonable
a
for like
day.
a job.
I think I also like, for me, it took me a long time, like with the Stephen A. Smith thing, like I think it took me a while, and it's still sometimes like if they get me on the right day, the wrong time, it still rubs me the wrong way when people will say like, oh, you're only here because you're black, or you're only here because you're pretty, or you're only, and it's like, if y'all only knew how many jobs I've worked, not in my field, how many jobs in my field that I was lucky if I even got paid for them. When I first started in the sports industry, I was covering Pop Warner football in the middle of the heat in the summer for NBC, for like a small little independent like show that covered Pop Warner football. I would be lucky if like after each gig I even got my check. And it wasn't like, you know, $1,000. It was like $150 a game. Sometimes I didn't even get that check. I used to be out there with no prompter.
Yeah.
I would get the stats literally maybe 15 minutes before the game. I didn't know anything about Pop Warner. Like, I was still learning the NFL. Like,
Stephen A. started Pop Warner. That's what he said.
I had to learn the Liberty City Warriors and all like on Flow Riders team and all that stuff.
Right.
Like,
We gotta get you back out there.
I was working gigs that I wasn't even getting paid for at times. People don't know this. When I started at Sports Illustrated, I wasn't even employed. I was a contractor. I got paid each time I was on camera, and it wasn't until about 6 months in that I said, when the Dallas Cowboys offered me a job, and I went to SI and I said, look, the Cowboys offered me a job. Like, what can you do? Otherwise, I have to leave. Is only when they offered me a job. I had been working at Sports Illustrated on and off for like 7 months before they actually offered me a deal. So when people used to come to me, like Twitter trolls and stuff like that, and try to question my credentials or make it seem like I'm only there so people have something to look at, I'm like, y'all couldn't do half the things I had to do to get to this position. They're like, if you want to try it, go ahead and try it, because I guarantee you probably would not have survived through it. Yeah. So it's like, it's annoying to
people
hear that
aren't there
at times.
for the journey, man. You know?
So BC, can you throw up that graphic of Ashley and the Essence.com? So for those out there that's tapping into Paper Route, you know, our daily show live on YouTube from 12 to 1:45 Monday through Thursday, also on SiriusXM Faction Talk. But let's throw it up for more people that want to hear more of Ashley Nicole Moss's story. Go to Essence.com, search Ashley Nicole Moss, and take a quick read. All right. But Ashley, you have some news of the day.
You do.
I do.
It's interesting news of the day.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if you guys have seen this video. There's a bear.
I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. All I know is in our pre-production meeting, Ashley says, I want to talk about the bear. I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? What bear?
So like there's, and look, bear in China at a Chinese zoo that people are believing is a man dressed in a bear costume.
No, that's a real bear.
So it's the way that the bear, okay.
I can't lie, that one looked like it could be a man in a costume.
Look, people
that
are,
angle.
I mean, he's
people are
standing straight up.
accusing the China Zoo of having men dressed in bear costumes impersonating real bears. Now,
China. Oh my goodness.
Look at this bear, people. Do you think that this is an actual bear, or he's waving?
So this doesn't look like a bear.
Like a mascot at an amusement park.
Right. Ashley, this doesn't look like a bear, looks like a mascot. But when he sits down, that's when it shifts for me back to, oh, this is a real bear.
Right, right. I'm with you, man.
Just the anatomy of a human being. Like, you can't sit down the way this bear sits down. Replay it. Go back from the top.
Yes, you could.
Look, watch this. Watch him sit down. Keep going.
I could sit down like that right now.
Keep going. I want to see him sit down.
Does it walk
Show
away
us.
too?
Watch him sit down. Watch him sit down.
I could sit down like that right now.
Do it.
I could literally
No. Do it. Ashley about to do it.
I could literally sit down like that right now. Look, he's standing completely straight up.
Look how wide that neck is.
Not even
Pause.
worried about the neck. Like, he's
Pause,
literally,
not pause.
his hand is up and he's waving. When have you ever seen a bear stand up completely straight and wave look, he's waving his hand. Like, hey, I'm
What
here.
bothers me is the color right here, because it looks like it could be a mask or head right above
Just
that,
right
right?
there
Right
where
where the
the-
Yeah,
neck
you might
is.
be right. This is flaw right here.
Now,
This is
the
flaw.
back, I hear you, Brandon. Like, the little wrinkles in the back looks like it could be a bear's body. The way he sat, okay. but it's the way that he's standing completely straight and like is waving like a person. Is it's too much human like for me for that to be like an actual bear.
I'm with Ashley on this one. What about you, Corey? It's definitely a human.
Oh, you definitely think it's a human?
Yeah, it's a human.
Yeah, I don't know, cause I was feeling that way up until when I saw the bear like sit down and then walk away.
Yeah, right.
But look how he's standing up straight before he sits.
Look how he sits down in his head didn't move. Yo, I don't know.
It's hard because it's like you don't know if the head is moving or if it's just like
point. Because look,
it's just pulling because the way he's moving. Up.
But look at the back.
Let's take a guess. How tall
bear.
do you think this man is?
Go ahead, Corey.
I mean, if it's a man, because look where the hips are, right? Like. If you say it's a man, it has to be a very short man.
It's China. They're naturally short people for the most part. I think their average national height is like, for a man, is like 5'7", 5'8". They're naturally small people.
But then what you have to consider is how would he function the head of the bear? Like how would the head of the bear do
I don't believe his head goes up that high.
No, I don't think so either. But like, then how is he controlling the head?
It's probably
the head of the bear is making facial expressions.
It's probably filled with something. Like
this is interesting.
I don't know, but this is what's throwing me off. Like that's a bear.
See what I'm saying?
The mouth looks like the head of
Cocaine
the
Bear is a hilarious underrated film. That's.
By the way, Ashley, the average height of an male in like Chinese Asian culture is 5'6".
That's what I said. Okay, I said 5'8". I gave him 2 more inches. But yeah, they're naturally small people.
Yeah. All right, Ashley, I think we got one more news of the day before we head into Daily Route. Talk about George Pickens. What you got for us?
Oh, yeah. Ashley.
Wait.
You got news.
What's the news?
Oh, it's my news?
I'm scared.
No, Ashley just gave the news.
Remember the Orlando Magic is endorsing somebody now?
Oh, yes. So, you want to give the backstory on this?
I can.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, with the Orlando Magic basically have donated or chose to donate $50,000 to Republican Ron DeSantis' presidential campaign. Now, this is actually the first time that the DeVos family, hopefully I'm pronouncing their name right, but it's the first time that they've decided to donate any sorts of money to any presidential campaign rather.
Publicly.
So, yeah, publicly, right. That is a good point. So, yeah, I mean, thoughts on this?
I'm sure
right? Because do we often see professional franchises endorse politicians like this?
Yes, when I was in the league still, going back to 2016, I believe, our owner supported Trump, and that was Woody Johnson, and there was so many other owners that came out. Hell, even Tom Brady, I believe, early on in during his campaign run, came out and I believe, like, I don't want to,
I don't
it's not
think
100%.
He publicly,
but they were friends.
He donated to I believe he made a donation to his campaign, but he didn't publicly So the answer, Corey, is you see this, right? And then also Woody Johnson, I believe, was a part of the administration because he went over to maybe Ireland, and he was the ambassador of the U.S. that was in Ireland for a year or two. So he gave pretty much the team to his brother Chris Johnson to run it while he was gone. So you see this. The reason why this is a very controversial move by the owners of the Magic is because of what Ron DeSantis, same thing. I don't care to know his name. What he's pushing. Right. Like, I think there might be a lot of good, but the biggest thing right now is how they're taking our history, Black history, out of schools. And then he also made a comment, or his team made a comment that we Black people or slaves benefited from slavery. Right? So this is a controversial move, not necessarily in politics, but more so in sports. Why? Because your team, look it up, and I don't know if you can pull this up, and it's not a priority, but like, your team is probably 90% Black, or at least 80% Black, right? So like, as a basketball player, as a free agent, as a guy that is coming in, how do you feel about this? Do you feel comfortable? Ashley, to me, the answer is no. Yeah, for me, this is problematic because, not even looking at the demographic of the team itself, but you are a owner of a franchise in a league that is 70+% Black. And to publicly support a candidate and their presidential campaign who has gone on record and said that Black people benefited from slavery and slavery was a good thing, and then not only stand by that, but then go ahead and change the curriculums in school so that you teach that to impressionable young children is problematic. For somebody to say that the darkest time in U.S. history was a good thing and that black people benefit from that is not only just unequivocally not true, it's unequivocally just racist. And also, if people did their research, the reason that there is a drastic difference in generational wealth between white Americans and black Americans is because of slavery. Is because black people started at a deficit in this country and they have never been able to go ahead and bridge the gap in that deficit because of slavery. So whatever your political allegiances are, that's your prerogative. But to go ahead and that's your prerogative, but we're still judging the fact that you can stand beside somebody who has a mindset that is just so dangerous to the way that black people are viewed and have been viewed in this country. We're judging that, but to do it publicly when you are responsible for molding and growing a franchise in the National Basketball Association, where, like I said, it is 70+% black, makes me think that you don't care about the people who put the jersey and go out there to try to win you games. You don't care about their families. You don't care about their upbringing. And that is a problem for me. And if I was a player on that team, this is not telling people how to go ahead and maneuver, not telling the players how to go ahead and deal with the situation. One, I would want to trade me. Because I'm not going to go ahead and play for somebody, for a family who thinks that, like I said, the darkest time in the history of this country, especially when we talk about the treatment of people, black people, how that was a benefit to me. Right. It wasn't. Families were torn apart. Women were forced to have babies through rape. People were beaten. People had to go ahead and try to escape slavery through an underground system in the middle of the night. Families, like I said, never were able to bridge the generational gap that white people have been able to go ahead and pass on from generation to generation. There are so many repercussions of slavery. And for you to go ahead and be able to support a candidate who has come out publicly in support of it, and like I said, change the curriculum so young children in schools now have a warped sense of what slavery actually was and try to erase black culture from American history, try to go ahead and affect black sororities and black fraternities and rewrite the history book so it makes you look less what you actually are, is a problem.
Right. Well, that's well said, Ashley Nicole Moss. We have some true challenges in Florida. It's been really awesome living in Florida for a long time, but now we are really challenged. And, politics in sports, some people always say, just play ball. And we heard this years ago on Fox this was a shot at LeBron James, shut up and dribble. But if you go back in the history of time, sports has always been at the center of politics and these social challenges in our civil rights movement. So that was well said, Ashley. We can't add anything to it.
One thing, Brandon, if you are a player, right? This is the same team. This is the same city in which the bubble took place during one of the biggest civil rights movements this country has ever seen, where we had players kneeling, putting on Black Lives Matter t-shirts. The court had Black Lives Matter branding on it with different sayings to go ahead and end racism. This was the site of the bubble, which changed the course of the NBA. And for you to go ahead and at that time be all pro-black and fight the power and we're down for the cause, and then just a few years later, all of a sudden it's a different tune. Now we're Ron DeSantis, go ahead, makes you look like a hypocrite. It makes you look like you were just going through the motions to go ahead and make sure that nobody was looking at you crazy during that time frame because everybody was doing it. So that means that we have to do it too. I'd have more respect for this family if they went ahead and during the 2020, the year of 2020 in the bubble, if they would have just kept their mouth shut, because you obviously don't believe what you were preaching.
And then also you got to understand the history surrounding Orlando and what's in that city. Eatonville, Florida. It's probably 12 to 15 miles away from their arena where they play ball, downtown Orlando. Well, Eatonville, Florida was one of the first, probably the first black governing, self-governing municipalities in all of our country. Oh, wow. So when you talk about civil rights movement, when you talk about us breaking from slavery, breaking away from that and getting our freedom back, you got to understand that right around the corner from their arena is where we first had our self-governing municipality, excuse me, I'm off today, in the entire country in the United States. So like, you know, for them to be that close to history, black history, and still feel this way, it's disappointing. But we'll move on from news of the day to the daily route.
Absolutely.
You know, George Pickens.
It's time to talk about it.
Let's talk about George Pickens.
Let's talk about it.
You know, he came out and said some big things.
He did. He made some interesting claims, and those claims were that he's the best in the whole world. He told Kevin Clark that of The Ringer. So these are his quotes. He says, "The stuff that I do, bro, I feel like I'm the best in the whole world. I'm big, I'm fast, low 4.4 speed, catch radius is crazy. So every time I get out on that field, I do kind of play angry because I should get the ball on every play if you look just at my size and the frame. But that's not how the NFL works," he continued on to say. He says, "So every time I'm out there, that's why I throw blocks. I love getting the ball, but when I'm not getting the ball, I play angry. So the attention is back on me. I basically draw attention to myself." So obviously, I want to stop there, Brandon.
Is this NFL Youngboy?
This is NFL Youngboy.
I just learned that was his nickname. Yeah. You weren't here.
Oh, the guy with the picture.
I don't know if you saw the clip of me cracking up from the picture. It was the first time I ever saw it, and I could not stop laughing. And then Corey was like, they call him NFL Youngboy because of that. And I just learned that nickname from him.
If you go to our Instagram account, I think it's On The Go. We sat down with him, or we talked to him in last year's camp, and I had him do it again, the NFL Youngboy pose.
I don't understand how he got his spine to like do that. That's crazy.
Right.
Okay.
But now, Brandon, here are a couple things here, right? One, do you like the confidence that he displays? But two, he kind of made an interesting note here at the end. He says that when he's blocking, he feels that he draws that attention back to himself, which might be the reason why he doesn't get the ball as much. Yeah. That's what I got from that statement. So those were the two things I wanted you to kind of talk about.
I was on a podcast this past Friday in Vegas. It's Veterans, I forget the name of it, Veterans Corner, maybe something like that. And he asked me a question. He said, what young wide receiver, what wide receiver reminds you of them?
What young wide receiver reminds you of them?
Yes.
Okay. Them of you.
Them of me.
Gotcha.
Help me
you
out
of
here.
Yourself. Like, what young wide receiver reminds you of yourself?
Yeah,
correct. Everybody give me grace today. I'm a little bit off, a little stuffy. Thank you so much. Yes. And it was hard for me to give him an answer. The only person I could think about is A.J. Brown. But now after hearing this, I feel like this type of attitude, reminds me of me. Right. And I'm not trying to make this about me, but like when I stepped in the league, I thought I could be the best in the world. I embraced that. I spoke that into my life. So I have nothing against that. But also when you watch what's coming out of camp right now, not only, some of the big catches, but the blocks, like this dude plays with a lot of anger, right? Like it's borderline, right? Meaning like he could potentially cross the line, and he has already in camp, but I have no problem with it. He and Joey Porter Jr., yes, Joey Porter's son was just drafted, I believe first round, second round for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the corner, they already got in the fight. The big play, big catch from a day or two ago, he catches it one hand and then throws the ball in the guy's face. So I absolutely love this. I didn't, go out there, every single play and block. Here's the catch. Look at this. To me, this is the best catch that's come out of a training camp so far. And that's what I meant by practice when we were talking about Dak Prescott. Look at that. That's what I want. Yeah. Like catch the ball, running back, catch the ball. I'm throwing the ball in your face. I ain't no friends. This reminds me like Kobe Bryant stuff, Michael Jordan stuff. Teammate, we ain't no teammates right now. We in practice. We making each other better. Look how Joey Porter responds. He puts his head back. He throws the ball back at him. And look, now his coach comes up to him. And look at this exchange. He's frustrated. You don't think he's going to go back into the lab and watch the film and think about how do I get better? How do I stop this guy? Yo, this is some good stuff coming out of Pittsburgh Steelers training camp.
Was that proper usage of the red line?
Take it back. No,
you know what?
he
That's a
won.
great question. That's a great question, Ashley, because I wanted to ask Brandon that too. I was like, but do we like the way that he
now
kind
that
of
I see the
held
red
his line
line,
here?
was that
though?
proper usage?
He did not hold his line. He did not hold his line here.
He's fighting to get it back, but here's the thing.
But if you
No,
win,
it's
you win.
not. He didn't leave the quarterback much room. And this is what I always say. You guys gonna hear me preach this probably every week during this football season. When you got a dog wide receiver out there, and there's 32 number one wide receivers, but not all are dogs. Not all are number ones. You might hold that title, but you're not number one. There might be 12 real dogs, real number one wide receivers. When you're always open. Throw it up. That's what I'm saying. And this is what I was saying about Dak Prescott and Cook when he threw that interception. Like, throw it out there. Let the guy make a play. So I love this, Corey. And that was a great question, Ashley.
Thank you.
That was.
Look at her. Quick learner. Talking about the red line.
Now I'm going to be harping on the red line.
Yeah, you got to hold that
for
red
real.
line. He was
All
fighting to get
season.
it back.
Honestly, I thought it was good coverage by Joey Porter
It was-
Jr. He just attacked the ball. NFL young boy. Like that's why he gets the name. You know,
Right.
like I thought it was great body control and great way to high point the ball. But that's
It's
George
perfect.
Pickens' strength.
Bro,
He made
like,
a catch just like this last season. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I
It was in
remember.
the game. Yeah. No,
But to your point, Corey, that was amazing. That's why he's so frustrated. Look at how he's getting
Right,
frustrated with his
right.
coach. He's like, what else can I do? What else can I do? Awesome coverage. I'm excited to watch that kid too. Can we put him on our board too? Can we have a running list of our rookie watch party or something? Working title. But put Joey Porter Jr. on there. Let's watch him. Could he potentially be a rookie of the week a couple times and thrust himself into the conversation of rookie of the year? I don't know, but I love what I'm seeing so far.
Wait, who you referring to? You referring to?
There, look,
There
there
you
go your
go.
picture, Ashley.
Yeah.
I know. I just don't at first I didn't even know, like, I thought it, when they showed me the picture the first time, I thought it was like an uncle, like an
No,
old
that
head
was-
uncle.
Yeah, right. It didn't
Because
look
of
like
the
a
way
player.
that the Scully is sitting on his head,
Take it back.
it looks like it's the back of an old head's neck.
Ashley,
I
you know
see
this
what
was
you're saying.
draft day. This is when he actually got
I
drafted.
know. I can
Yeah.
see the draft on the screen, but doesn't the back look like an old head uncle's,
Like the hot dog.
Right.
the hot dog in the back?
I love this kid. I love this kid. I
I'm a
love this
big
kid.
fan. I'm a big fan.
I love this kid.
Well,
He got that attitude. That's what you
Yeah.
need in football. It ain't out here sweet. What you talking about?
And that's not a Scully, that's a shiesty, my bad.
Shiesty.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
shiesty.
Charger, please.
It's a shiesty.
But hey, let's talk about that next generation of wide receiver, right, Brandon? I think what we got for the people today is your top 5 wide receiver list under 25. Also
Under 25.
Under 25, not named Justin
remember the
Jefferson
days
or
when I was
Jamar
under
Chase.
25.
Right.
Yeah.
So listen, guys. This is the crazy part. Let me plug in real quick. This is the amazing part about our game, right? We have wide receivers, defensive backs. We just talked about 2 of them, right? George and Joey. They're coming in right away, and they're performing and participating at a high level. That wasn't the case back in the day. It took a lot. I truly believe, Ashley, the reason why we're seeing quarterbacks, wide receivers, defensive backs come in and be more successful quicker is because of 7-on-7. Now you can play ball year round. We didn't have that when I was growing up, right?
Really?
No. 7-on-7 is kind of a new thing over the last, I would say,
10 years?
10 years, right? And Corey can attest to this. So I say that because there's some wide receivers under 25 that I don't put in this category. Right. I don't put them in this category because I call them big dogs. So let me tell you some of the guys. And
So
this
wait, what did you guys have in to the equivalency of
Nothing.
nothing?
just like regular football season.
Interesting.
So here are the big dogs that are exempt from this this conversation because they're big dogs. The age doesn't matter, doesn't define you. You're already him. You're already in a top 5 discussion. You're already in a top 10 discussion. Yep. Justin Jefferson, you're a big dog. You're under 25, but you're a big dog. Jamar Chase, you're a big dog. You have no place on this list or in this conversation. You got other guys out there. CeeDee Lamb, look at his numbers. If you look at his, they talk about Jamar Chase. They talk about Justin Jefferson a lot. But when you look at CeeDee Lamb, he's off to a really hot start in his career. He's a big dog. Has no place on this list. Devontae Smith. We'll get to Devontae Smith. I love Devontae Smith, and I will go out there and say he's a big dog, but we don't talk about him like he's a big dog, so he might end up on his list. Let's see. Okay. Brandon Ayuk. Did I say his name right, team? Because I know I'll chop up somebody's name quick.
Sound right to me.
Exactly
okay. He's not a big dog. I'd say honorable mention. DK Metcalf. Can we all agree that DK Metcalf is a big dog? Because 2 years ago, I had him in my top 5.
Yeah, he's a big dog.
Go ahead.
The only thing I would say is DK is past the 25.
How old is he?
He's 25 with 231 days, so he's almost 26.
Okay, so he's a big dog. He's an old dog. He's an old dog. T. Higgins, Jared Wilson, Chris Olave, Jalen Waddle, Michael Pittman Jr., it's difficult. Amon St. Brown, Drake London. All right, so let's get to my top 5 wide receivers under 25. Here we go. Amon St. Brown. Have you heard of him? Motor City guy. It's not a big market, Ashley, so some people don't even know who this guy is and how he plays the game. He will be a big dog.
Okay.
Okay, and this is no particular order. These are just my top 5 under 25 that, the guys that aren't exempt. George Pickens, we just talked about him. George Pickens in a few years might be the best wide receiver in the whole NFL. Pushing Justin Jefferson, pushing Tyreek Hill, pushing all the Stephon Diggs of the world. Jalen Waddle, we don't talk about him enough, but the dude almost went for 1,500 last year. What was his stats? Was it 1,300 yards? How many touchdowns? Like, come on, man. This dude is special. Garrett Wilson, there's a lot of scouts that are out there saying that Garrett Wilson, hell, not scouts. Aaron Rodgers said, you know what? If he comes and he adds 10, 12 pounds on his body, he might be the next Justin Jefferson. This dude is on his way to being a big dog. This year, he might break all the records. Hell, he might break my record. Like, I own all the single season records for the Jets. They might all fall this year. And I'm okay with Garrett Wilson being the one to break those. Chris Olave, we had him here, Corey.
Yep.
For his pre-draft process. Quiet dude, hard-working guy, but elusive and fast, deceptive. He could be a big dog. He got votes last year for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
So Ashley, I asked you this question. Did I miss anything? Did I make any mistakes on my top 5 wide receivers under 25, or do you sign off on this? Do you approve of this list?
No, I think if you're going to go ahead and take out the normal names like Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, those guys, for sure. I think, though, that I would put Devontae Smith in here as an honorable mention.
Oh, so I'm so sorry. So Devontae Smith, I put him borderline. Like he's
like an in-betweener?
He's not an honorable mention. No, because look at his numbers, look at his stats. He's ascending to big dog. Like, this is the year he's
So you
big
think
dog.
He's past this group?
Yeah, he's past this group.
That's what I said. So he's middle.
Yes,
he's limbo.
correct,
Okay.
correct. I didn't have a category for Devontae.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I like see what people in the chat I'm seeing. Amon St. Brown. This dude is going to be the real deal. I think he's really going to surprise some people. I mean, the reports are already saying out of the Lions camp that he's the main target in the red zone. Brandon, I mean, you can attest to that. Like, if you're the wide receiver that's getting the ball in the red zone, obviously you're a trusted option amongst the coaches and the quarterback. So look out for Amon-Ra to really probably rack up, I'd say the numbers in that touchdown column. And then Chris Olave, I mean, you just said it. He's a dude he slept on. Like, he just does it all. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more production from a Chris Olave than a Mike Thomas, who's missed some time. So
a lot of time.
I really I love this list. I mean, Jalen Waddle, we seen what he did.
There's people in here saying Jerry Jeudy, et cetera, et cetera. See these guys, like here's my thing. And I didn't have enough categories. Sorry to cut you off, Corey.
No.
But like the Devontae Smiths of the world. Devontae Smith, let's put him in the big dog category right now. Had a phenomenal year last year. This dude is special. The reason why we're not talking about enough because he has A.J. Brown there. So there's Batman and Robin, right? Or whatever they're calling themselves. Jerry Jeudy. I'm glad whoever jumped in the chat, they put up his name. When you've been in the league 2-3 years. Like, I need to see it right now. We had Jerry Jeudy here. You saw how I talked to him. I was like, yo, this is the year. Like, are you going to be top 5 or not? Right? Like, you are that special. There's the receiver that was with Amari Cooper. There's Devontae Adams. And then it's him when it comes to the best route runners in the league today. There's an argument that he's the best route runner in football. So, yeah, there are guys like Jerry Jeudy that I don't have here because, like, you're a vet in my mind, okay? So, like, you need to be in big dog status. So, like, Jerry Jeudy I love, and I think he's going to have an amazing year, but I didn't have him here because I didn't know where to place him.
What about someone like Drake London?
Drake London is not he's not better like right now. Like I love his potential. I love his upside. You guys know I love the big wide receiver. I'm a big wide receiver. He could have a breakout year and find himself on this list or on the big dog status list as well. But we need to see. He was a rookie last year.
Yeah. I say we still need a little bit more. But
when we put this list out on social media, let's make sure that we go ahead and put a disclaimer. Because we don't want what happened with my LeBron James not being a top 5 scorer situation. Right? It was Armageddon.
It was bad.
No, it was. Quick story. We'll just go back in this. Mind you, there was 3 lists.
Right.
It was me, Corey, and Antoine.
Right.
None of us had LeBron because the list was technically true, like pure scorers. Not like all-time scorer. It was like who can go ahead, whose bag is the deepest when it comes to scoring, can shoot from anywhere on the court. LeBron, there's a bunch of names I think of before I get to LeBron James. There's AI, there's Kobe, there's Michael Jordan, there's AI. I mean, I said AI. There's Kevin Durant. We all didn't have LeBron on our list. Somehow, I get the bullet on social media, and these two escape.
It was crazy.
Like nothing ever happened. But
do not put my list out there.
Put the list out there, but put an asterisk and say whatever. Like the typical names are considered past the beginning stage.
I need honorable mention. I need big dog status, and I need it's time to go to big dog status. So I'm okay with not putting my list out there because I don't want what happened to you to happen to me.
No, you got to put your list out there. I have to put my list out there.
But they better find it on YouTube or YouTube clip.
Nah, we putting the list out there.
You have to go search for it, huh?
Real quick, guys, I just wanted to mention we got a super chat here from RSF Morrow. His top 5, he's saying, is first Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. And he said George Pickens. Yeah, George Pickens is a dog.
Yeah, but I respect that. But like, bro, like, you got to play by the paper route rules, and the paper route rules is like, you got big dogs, so they're exempt. Like, I agree with them under 25.
Like somebody in the chat just said, we should probably change it to top 5 underrated wide receivers under 25.
Okay, listen, I'm not.
I think that tweak solves everything, actually.
Yeah, if you do underrated wide receivers under 25, then it negates the typical top 5.
That clears everything
up. What about
young
sneaky
That clears everything up.
No, we're not doing sneaky snipers. If we can add to the graphic just top 5 underrated wide receivers under 25, then when we put that out, that makes sense. That solves everything.
I like that. I like that.
Shout out to whoever said that in the chat.
Hold on, let me see who said that so I can shout them out. Shout out to Jaja Binks. Okay, Star Wars reference.
Yeah, Jaja Binks.
Jaja Binks.
Jaja Binks comes from Star Wars? That just doesn't sound like a Star
Wars.
Moving on, Corey.
Are you for real, Corey?
Banks.
Brandon, did you know that?
No, I never.
I know Brandon.
Tara Banks' cousin?
No, Jaja Binks comes from Star Wars.
Oh, Bix? I think you said Banks.
Binks. It comes from Star Wars.
I'm like, Jaja Binks.
Ain't nobody watching Star Wars?
Oh, so many people watch Star
Only
Wars.
like 70 billion people have watched Star Wars, but okay, sure.
Right.
Star Wars.
All right, well, I want to move on to this
Is
next.
that Marvel affiliation?
No,
not at all.
It's like its own
actually
deal,
Disney, right?
Yeah, it's Disney now.
It's Disney
is
now.
Disney?
It's Disney now.
Is that the cartoon?
No. Remember the
You
Star
never
Wars
saw
like movie
Luke
series?
Skywalker, Darth Vader, like
I heard of Darth Vader for like
cartoon
Halloween.
versions.
I seen that for Halloween costumes,
that's
but
Star Wars.
I thought that was a cartoon.
They do have cartoon versions of it, right? Star Wars?
But it started like Jabba the Hutt, Princess Leia.
No, I know. I
Never
definitely
seen
see
it before?
human characters when I think of Star Wars. So, like, I mean, I feel you. But I thought they were cartoon versions.
They have cartoons of Star Wars, but it started off as like a movie.
Yeah, just a
with
movie.
Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that I remember.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christmas.
All right, we're gonna move on. We got this is actually gonna be another fun conversation because the 33rd team lists their top 11 wide receiver duels of all time, and in my opinion, this is a very interesting list. Of course, I agree with a lot of the names, but then there's some, that personally left my head scratching. So I wanted to get y'all guys' thoughts on this. So let's throw that graphic up there.
Okay.
Brandon, you want to just break this down? Do you want to go through it? I'm gonna give you the honors of going through it.
Listen, the reason why I sent this in a couple of days ago was because I feel disrespected, Ashley. However, I'm not prepared to have this conversation.
I am. I'll tell you that. I'm prepared to defend my guy B Marsh. So let's go through it though.
Hopefully you are, because to me, I wanted to back this up by numbers.
Mm-hmm. And that
I haven't had the time to look at Jamar Chase and T Higgins, total yards, touchdowns, receptions, all those things, right? Even wins, I think you gotta take into account for that as well. Mark Clayton, Mark Duper, you know about them. I think they deserve to be on this list. That
Agreed.
was a legendary tandem, legendary run they had with Dan Marino. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, they're going into their second year. How do we say all time? See, now this is the old time. You know what? I'll do it. I'll embrace it. This is my Paul Pierce moment. Maybe I'm hating. Maybe I am a hater. It's okay. I never talk like this. Throw the list back up.
I don't think you're a hater. I think
you have valid reasons.
I would.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the numbers.
Put
like I said.
Eric Decker and you up there.
That's what I'm
How
saying.
can you
So
not?
here's my thing, right?
That's kind of nuts that y'all aren't even on the
So
top.
really quickly, here's my thing. Just looking at the numbers, Corey, I wish I had the numbers in front of me. But myself and Eddie Royal, 91 catches, 104 catches, Pro Bowl, over 15 touchdowns, whatever it was, 1,300 yards, 1,000 yards. Myself and Alshon Jeffrey. Mm-hmm. All right, me and Alshon, like Pro Bowl, 100 catches, 90 catches, or whatever he had, 10 touchdowns, whatever. I don't even know the numbers.
The numbers for you. I'm just gonna let you.
And then
finish
also
your point.
myself and Eric Decker.
You and Decker were a beast. Like that was one of my, like, as a fan, obviously not my team, but as a football fan, that was a show to be seen.
It was unbelievable. Like so like the people that I feel like one of my tandems should be on this list. I love AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. We just talked about them. I feel like that could potentially be one of my tandems. The 10 and 11, I feel like that could be replaced by one of my tandems. Lynn Swann, Mark Duper, Mark Harris, Reggie Wayne, no, can't even touch that. Jamar Chase, T Higgins, yes.
Don't you think they're way too high though? Like even if they were to be included on this list, they are incredibly high.
They've only played what?
So I'll
3
pass
seasons together at this point?
Two. Because
seasons?
Jamar Chase has only been in the year for 2.
Season.
Yeah.
Man, people be disrespecting. But go ahead.
All right, you ready to tap me in, no, Brandon? Because I got
Hold
the
on,
numbers
let
for
me
you.
let me look at this
Okay,
for a second.
all right, go ahead.
1 through 3, I agree with. I don't think we can move
Agree,
those.
yeah. No,
Actually, I'm alive.
maybe
1 through 4, you don't move. I think those are solid.
No. Actually, one second.
Go ahead.
Marvin Harrison and
Wayne,
and Reggie Wayne should probably be number 1.
Really?
Really? 1?
Over Randy Moss and Chris Carter?
They did it for 10 years straight together. Unbelievable.
Right. But it was hard. It was hard to make a case for somebody like yourself, though, when you wanted to incorporate the continuity between duos. So, but I'm with you. I think Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne, in my opinion, should be 3.
They're 1.
I don't think they're
numbers.
1.
Look at the numbers. Randy Moss and Chris
crazy.
Carter was dynamic, but Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne did it for 10 years at an extremely high level.
Yeah.
So from a number standpoint, I don't even see how it's even a comparison.
Nah, yeah. I mean, I feel you on that. Yeah.
What about Julio Jones, Roddy White?
They should be up there.
That was an honorable mention for me. That came to mind. It definitely came to mind. But I'm putting
that's a good one.
I'm putting some of your duos above that. So are we ready for the Brandon Marshall duos? And what I wanted to start with were the guys that I felt we could have taken out and put you in for. So I'm gonna start with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. All respect to them, but I think they're referring to the years when, which was only last year. They only have 1 year together, I believe it or not. A.J. Brown had 1,496 yards, 11 touchdowns.
Big year.
Devontae Smith had 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. So they combined for about 2,700 together, 16 touchdowns. So good, right? And now I'm gonna go through Jamar Chase and T. Higgins stats from 2021. Jamar Chase had 1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns. T. Higgins had 1,000, just 1,091, 6 touchdowns. Combines for 25 and 19.
That boy's about to say 1,000.
I was.
sound like me.
1,000, I know.
We all off.
So, but now I need to take y'all back. The first one I'm going to bring up, Brandon, is the 2013 year with you and Alshon Jeffrey. How these years weren't considered, I don't know, because both of y'all, I believe, went over 100. No. Alshon had 89 catches.
I'm the
was
enigma
pushing
of
100.
football. That's what I'm going to tell you. I'm an enigma.
Yeah.
Can you pull up the,
I like
the
the
word
word
enigma?
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Go.
So yeah, 2013, Alshon had 89 catches, 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns. No, that was you. My fault. You had 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns, 100 catches, and he had 89 catches, 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns. Y'all combined for 2,700 yards, 19 touchdowns. Come on. Like, I think that shit just knocked off A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, at least at the bottom of the list.
Right.
Well,
right.
what
If we
was his
talking-
numbers with Eric Decker?
You know what?
Right. Now, this is the one that's like, what? How
Decker was
did
nuts.
y'all not get on this list?
Before
These
you
stats
go
are
to
crazy.
Eric Decker and
ahead,
myself with the Jets, I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith beats us out. Myself and Alshon Jeffrey. Here's why.
Okay.
They went to the Super Bowl. So you put up those numbers. If the numbers are close and you make it to the Super Bowl, it's not even a debate. So I give
Really?
that to them.
I mean, you want to say they just had a better complete team? No, I mean, your team, y'all was super reliant
but
on
still,
y'all.
they went to the Super Bowl.
I feel you.
And they made the biggest plays throughout the year to help them get there. So, yes, the defensive line and the defense did a phenomenal job, but, like, I wouldn't even debate that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it. All right, but now the Eric Decker one,
But
right?
now-
So 2015, Eric Decker had 1,027 yards, 12 touchdowns. And then that year, you go off of 1,500 yards, 14 touchdowns. Y'all combined for 26 touchdowns. Like, I don't think there was anybody on that list maybe that had scored. Maybe the Randy Moss, Wes Welker. I feel like that was the year Randy Moss had like 20. But, like, come on, that's obviously an exception. Y'all combined for close to 2,600 yards, 26 touchdowns. How y'all ain't on the list, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see how Eric Decker, Brandon aren't on the
right.
list, and I don't see how Julio Jones and Roddy White aren't on the list.
Right.
No, listen. This was a great discussion. I'm glad they put this together, and let's keep the conversation going. Maybe we'll get Julio Jones and Roddy White on the show and get their thoughts on this.
Right.
This is going to age.
I mean, they made Matt Ryan look like he was Tom Brady.
Hold on. So you're one of those people. So you feel like Matt Ryan wasn't like Matty Ice. You don't like Matty?
He wasn't
Matty
Tom
Ice.
Did you see him on the
Brady,
Colts?
but like with that wide receiver
Right.
tandem, he looked like Brady.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna say that Matt Ryan wasn't an efficient QB. Like he definitely Matty Ice. He had his moments, but with that duo, he looked like he was up there with Peyton and them. Like,
Yeah, like Julio. Like now that I'm
Julio
glad
was
that
the
you brought that
real
up.
deal. Like,
Julio and Roddy White definitely need to be on that list.
Yeah.
For sure. Are we missing anybody? AJ Green, Calvin Johnson.
You know who's a
some of
good
the biggest
combo?
Names.
I mean,
Steve Smith.
I don't know if you want to go. I wouldn't put giant. I mean, if you want to go Super Bowl, I mean, you had Cruz and Odell Beckham, but not really because it wasn't really too much like that. Like Michael Irvin
and Harper, not Harper, no.
was it
I
Harper?
forgot his name.
No, Michael Irvin and
It was Michael. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, it was
Cowboy
Michael
fan.
Irving and Help me out.
Michael
Why am I
Irvin's
drawing a
just-
blank on this guy's name?
I got
Michael
you.
Irvin's.
Yeah, Alvin Harper.
No, was it
Alvin Harper. Thank you, JP. Alvin Harper.
Alvin
Yes.
Harper. Okay.
Great.
Would you put them up there?
Well, they're not. No.
No. Okay.
No. I actually put up, like, I'll look at Jerry Rice and T.O. That's not up there.
Yeah, it isn't.
When they were
Right.
San-
Yeah, when they were
They got
at
John
San
Taylor.
Fran, right? Young T.O.
Yeah. T.O. went out there on Jerry Day, Jerry Rice's day, last day, and broke the record for most
Didn't
catches.
T.O. and Ocho play together at one point?
Yeah, they did. And they both went over 1,000 yards, but it wasn't like a legendary year.
Oh,
it was like
okay.
they both had 1,000 yards.
I also saw someone say Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen. How do you feel about that one?
Interesting. Interesting.
Because they put up numbers. That's what it was. They put up numbers. They had a lot of touchdowns between the two of them. So
I mean, if you
that was
want
like
to
an
talk
honorable mention.
a lot of touchdowns in the Super Bowl, you had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin
Right.
Yeah.
when Tampa did it.
Maybe an honorable mention. Like I said, I'm putting B Marsh and Eric Decker in there before that one.
Brandon Marshall here, Corey in the cut, Woo out west. We have Ashley Nicole Moss, We have Manderville, and we have BC. BC, how do you feel about this list? Is there anybody that we missed? Is there anybody you want to add? We can't hear you, buddy.
Can we hear him? Can we hear him? Can we hear him? Okay, well, we figured that out. Listen.
Can you hear me?
Okay, there we go.
Can
we
hear
got
him
you.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah, there he is.
No, I think you guys covered it all. I was trying to think myself of anybody that you guys were missing as far as like wide receivers, but I think you
Any
got
honorable mentions from the Giants or anything?
No, get out of here.
Just saying.
I mean,
Just throw that out
shit,
there.
every Super Bowl team, I guess we could just pick 2 from each Super Bowl.
What you gonna put? What's his name?
Michael Strahan.
Yeah, like
Michael Strahan. He was a wide receiver tandem.
BC, what's up? How is it back there? How is it in the control room? Give us an update.
Man,
Like, is
cold.
the AC?
Nice.
Is it cold?
Nice,
Is it
nice,
hot?
Nice and chilly back here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So see, I told y'all, BC every single day, because I heard that a couple weeks ago. Oh, it's really cold in here, so he always has a hoodie on. Now he has his camera set up, his mic going. He has
I'm about
his
to go
favorite
back in the
hat,
hoodie.
and now he has a T-shirt on. So now you're trying to look cool.
I'm going back in the hoodie. Don't worry. I'm going back in the hoodie.
I'm gonna read off some of the duos that the chat has thrown out, and let's see how you feel about them. Okay, so let's see. Let's see here. We have Randy Moss and Wes Welker.
Yep, I like that.
Okay.
Crazy year.
We have
Santonio
Deshaun
Holmes.
Jackson and Jason Avant.
Jason Avant.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I won't put them there, but I love Jason Avant, a really
He was
underrated
solid.
slot receiver. Oh, my
Yeah, he was
goodness.
super
I used to
solid.
study him, but
He's
I
kind of
won't
like
put
an
him
Anquan Bolden almost.
Yeah.
It has similar.
Okay, speaking of Larry Fitzgerald and Anquan Bolden, were
They
they
were
on the list?
They were number 3.
Okay.
Santonio
we
Holmes
have
and Hines Ward. That was actually a
Plexico
good one.
Burress and Hines Ward.
Oh, that too.
Interesting, but the numbers wasn't
Pittsburgh,
crazy.
yeah.
Probably
They
not.
got
were
an honorable
dynamic,
mention.
but the numbers wasn't crazy.
The New York Giants, Victor Cruz and Hakeem Nicks.
I already put that in there. We're not.
No, you said
Hakeem
Oh, I
Nicks.
said Odell. Yeah, Victor Cruz. Ooh, Victor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the
nine-
numbers
nine-
wasn't
They did have a little
crazy.
run.
I
They
love
did have a
their
little
run. I love their run. And
I remember that.
Yeah,
that was the Super Bowl
No,
year.
Manningham.
Oh,
Do you
yeah,
remember
Hakeem
Manningham
Nicks,
that
too?
catch.
Yeah. He was like, was he like the number 2 or the 3
He was the
receiver? He was
three.
like the 3, but he was a solid number 3 receiver too. I remember
Mario
that.
Manningham, yeah. He
Yeah,
had
I remember that
523
group.
days.
What
That was
about
good.
we have here? Somebody said Donald Driver and Greg Jennings.
Yes, sir. Oh, we
Wait,
forgot about the Green
how
Bay
did they not-
Packers.
Yeah, how did
Oh,
Driver
yeah.
and Jennings?
You can
not
go,
make
you
it?
can
Wow.
go,
Didn't even
but
think
you can
about
also
Greg.
go Greg Jennings and
James Jones,
not James Jones, the white receiver.
the white dude.
Jordy Nelson.
Jordy Nelson. yeah.
Jordy Nelson. Oh my goodness.
No, you know
Even
what's
Randall Cobb.
No, you know
Randall
what's
Cobb
Randall
for a
Cobb
couple
was
years.
nice.
You know, it's go St. Patrick, Ocho Cinco, and TJ Houshmandzadeh. That was actually.
Oh
a good
my
combo.
goodness.
I forgot about that combo.
Ooh wee.
That was a good
There's
one.
more tandems than we think.
Ooh wee.
Yeah.
Someone said, "What about Holmes and Ward?"
Yeah, Santonio Holmes.
Interesting,
and
but the
Hines
numbers
Ward.
wasn't crazy.
Yeah, that's
though.
what.
Would you guys consider this? Jabril Yasir said Kelsey and Tyreek. I know he's a tight end, but
They were
I
a
mean,
great combo though.
yeah,
But
but
you
this
guys
is
can-
wide receiver duos. So if you want to do
Okay.
it that way, then we're going to add another one of two of my tandems. We're going to add Martellus Bennett and myself, and we're going to add myself and Tony Scheffler.
see,
Yeah, you and Martellus Bennett. That was actually a good
Yeah,
combo right there.
Marty
for real.
Wentz.
No, another interesting one.
Someone said
which is one-
Megatron and whoever was on the other side.
Yeah, that's respect. I respect that.
Big
I
for them.
respect that.
But last one though, I actually did think about this one. It was Antonio Brown and Martavis Bryant.
That they had one good year. Man, Antonio Brown special. Antonio Brown, oh my goodness.
I just wish Martavis Bryant could have stuck around a lot. I really liked him as a receiver. I don't know how you felt about him as a receiver. I liked him.
Loved his game, and I love him as a person.
Yeah,
Man, listen,
So-
AB on the Steelers, boy.
that's what I'm saying. He was
Dang it,
great.
AB. Why?
I'll say it. I think he could have.
It makes me so bad when I think about it.
Brandon,
God
if
dang
somebody
it.
makes that statement, the statement here, AB could have been the greatest of all time.
Oh, my
how do you,
God.
how do you feel about that statement there?
I would say a possibility, but it would have been tough because you got to look at longevity. Jerry Rice played 19 years, right? And he produced at a high level for probably 14, 15 of them. His numbers, his trajectory, if he would have played as long as Jerry played, he would have definitely surpassed him and crushed his numbers.
I agree.
And you got to take care of business, and you just got to find a way to eliminate distractions. And unfortunately, these distractions take down a lot of us as athletes.
What about Lockett and Baldwin?
Nah.
No.
What about DT and Emmanuel Sanders?
Can we go to the next topic now?
We're talking about too many wide receivers. Huh? All right, well, yeah, we've been talking a lot about wide receivers. Let's talk about quarterbacks though. So the Athletic recently released their quarterback tier and rankings list. So what they did is they had 4 different tiers: tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and they actually ranked them all in order. So let's go through it, huh?
All right.
What classifies tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4? Did they say?
No, I mean it's kind of, you got to think of it like, within tiers, right? Like
Okay.
All right, so here we go. So
C,
tier 1, all right? Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert.
It's wrong.
I like this tier, but who I'm adding to it is Lamar Jackson.
Are you taking anyone out?
And maybe Hurts.
No. I'll keep Justin Herbert there.
What?
Yeah, for sure.
Tier 1? You have
Remember
Jalen Hurts, who went to the Super Bowl.
That's right.
In tier 2, wrong. He should be tier 1.
But just take. This is how we should think about it. Don't think about their current situations. We're in an NFL draft. Who are you taking? Right? So boom, I go Patrick Mahomes. I'm on the board first. Woo is on the board second. BC's on the board third, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What names are going to fall first? I believe someone's taking Patrick Mahomes, someone's taking Joe Burrow, someone's taking Josh Allen for sure. Aaron Rodgers, yes, say the age thing. Justin Herbert, Ashley, we talked about this when he got his deal. Through his first 3 years, 3 years, his numbers are up there with Tom Brady and the Drew Brees. Not Tom Brady's in a Peyton Manning.
I just don't see, and this is coming from an Eagles hater. I just don't see how you can go into this next season and have Jalen Hurts fresh off of a Super Bowl and have him tier 2.
Listen.
You have to account for the Super Bowl, because if we're not,
you can't.
If we're not, then why is Aaron Rodgers just there based on legacy?
Right.
Last year his team sucked.
Okay, but
He's just there on legacy alone. Justin Herbert's there on potential alone because the Chargers got bounced in the first round of the playoffs.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts went to the Super Bowl and faced number 1 quarterback, QB1, Patrick Mahomes. How is he not tier 1?
I hear what you're saying, but the way I look at it, Ashley, is this. I am the Houston Texans. So I don't have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I don't have that front 7. I don't have the general manager and this coach. I'm the Houston Texans. Who am I? Like, that's how I'm looking at it.
I'm sorry.
Jalen. So you're going to take Jalen Hurts. So you're the Houston Texans. So maybe what I hear you saying is, look, I'm not taking anybody out. I'm just adding Jalen Hurts.
No, it says the Athletics annual QB tier, which means it's based on year by year, which means this is not what you would take in the draft. This is an annual list based on what these quarterbacks did last season. I don't understand how you have Justin Herbert at 5 and Jalen Hurts as 6. Tier 2. The man's fresh off of a Super Bowl appearance. He's fresh off an MVP season. He should be tier 1. Justin Herbert, absolutely love him. Big Justin Herbert fan. I've interviewed him before. Very nice guy, huge guy. But he got oh my God. He got bounced in the first round of the playoffs. How is he tier 1? Based on what credentials?
Right. I hear your argument, Ashley.
Look at the other names on that list.
You're convincing me. I just look at it totally different. I just like going into the year.
But look at those other names on the list. You have the Super Bowl winner.
Yep.
You have a guy who almost went to the Super
Joe
Bowl.
Burrow.
You have a guy.
No, Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl.
He went to the Super Bowl.
Well, I'm talking about last season.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. You have Josh Allen and Joe Burrow, who battled it out in the conference, in the conference. You have Aaron Rodgers, reigning multiple record holder, best passer of the football, whatever you want to see. Although Green Bay was terrible, his numbers, if you look at him as a singular, where does Justin Herbert fit in that credential that Jalen Hurts does it? Where?
See, I think you're looking at it like the Athletics annual quarterback tier and like going off a year to year. I just think it's just their quarterback tier. Here's where we're at. So I do think it's not about what you did last year.
It has to be.
More so about,
just
who
resume.
are you? Just resume.
Who are you as a quarterback?
Here's where we're
what
at.
you can do for
Even
my
more
franchise.
so, resume. How is Justin Herbert over Jalen Hurts? Someone explain it to me.
Good point.
Someone explain it to me.
Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
You are the Houston Texans. You're on the board first. Ashley Nicole Moss. Who are you taking? Justin Herbert or Jalen Hurts?
That's what it comes down
That's
to.
not what this is about, though.
No, but I think it is though.
It can't be about that because
it does say annual quarterback tier and rankings.
Right.
However, I think they are listing and ranking these quarterbacks based off of what they've done in the past, where their teams stand
Stop
now.
right
There's
there.
a lot of things that
what they've done in the past. What
Right.
has Justin Herbert done that Jalen Hurts hasn't?
He's proven. Yeah, it's
Has he
you're
been
looking
to
at
a Super
everything.
Bowl?
Has not.
Has he had an MVP season?
Has not.
But that's not his fault. Jalen Hurts was.
It's okay. It's not his fault. Okay, whatever.
It is.
Whatever, Corey.
You got to hear what I'm. You got to
could
hear
also
me out
make the
because
argument,
really
Aaron
what I'm trying
Rodgers
to do is
hasn't been to a
justify
Super
Brandon's
Bowl in,
point.
like,
Don't
There's a lot that
justify it.
they're-
His point is
it's a lot that
wrong.
they're looking
You look
at. It's a lot
crazy.
that
His
they're
point
looking
is
at.
wrong.
Lamar
If you
Jackson-
ask me that same question, like who are you picking if you have like a team that's like made up of straight rookies, right? Like straight rookies. I'm just coming up with a hypothetical. Which quarterback would you like to lead that team? Who do you think? Which quarterback do you think can make all of those guys around him better?
This is not a mock board. This is not a mock draft. This is an annual QB tier and rankings voted by 50 NFL coaches and executives. I don't understand how you can look at what Jalen Hurts did last season and put Justin Herbert ahead of him. I am sorry. I don't understand it. I won't understand it.
So listen, we'll probably go back and forth all day about that. So here's what I would say, right? I'm gonna look at the rest of the list.
Okay.
I like the rest of the list. You know, like I said earlier, I'll move Lamar Jackson to tier 1. I'm sorry, he's just different. I'm not subscribing him to the same rules that every other quarterback. He can throw for 2,500 yards and then also rush for 1,000, and then he can throw 30 something touchdowns and 10 picks, and it's dynamic, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm moving him. I understand why they have Russell Wilson at tier 3, so I'm not going to fight that and debate that.
Do you know? Because I actually thought he should have been too.
I would actually say that Geno Smith, I would put him to tier 2. Geno Smith.
Wait.
Listen to me.
Okay.
I hear you.
This is interesting.
Listen to me. I'm going off of like where he's at now.
Okay.
Okay. Like Geno Smith got a single vote last year, which is a big deal for MVP. I think he was the most accurate quarterback through 12, 13 weeks. He was the most efficient quarterback. Okay. So Geno Smith last year played like a top 5 quarterback. So I'm moving him. The other person I'm moving, Ashley, and this might be a shocker to most, Brock Purdy. How the hell do you have Brock Purdy in tier 4?
Yeah, I think he should be at least
Brock Purdy is teetering in between 2 and 3 to me. Like, I love Brock Purdy.
Well, there's no teeter. You got to pick one.
I can't.
Well, you have to. There's no
All right,
3.5. Like,
because I don't want, I like to go out
there's
there.
no 3.5.
And rock the boat, so I can, for me, like my gut is tier 2, but I'm a little gun shy right now. I'm gonna put him in tier 3.
I'm actually surprised, even though his season last year was not great. I'm surprised that Russell Wilson's tier 3.
Me too.
Like, for all of the things that went wrong last season, that is still one hell of a quarterback. He's not tier 1 anymore, at least not based on last season. But I just feel like one bad season does not dictate you as a quarterback as a whole. Tier 3, I mean, you have him in a competition. You have him in with Jimmy Garoppolo. You're telling me that Russell Wilson and Jimmy Garoppolo are the same quarterback?
Right.
Like,
No,
the same level of
absolutely not.
talent. Like, that's insane.
Absolutely.
All right,
not.
so I think I've come up with a way to kind of really differentiate these quarterbacks and tell me if this makes sense. So I'm going to start with tier 4, actually. I think tier 4 are just starting quarterbacks, right? Starting quarterbacks at the NFL level. Tier 3 are quarterbacks that are going to keep your team, in my opinion, competitive, right? There might not be a playoff team, but they'll keep your team competitive as opposed to a guy who's just a starting quarterback. Tier 2 are guys, and now this makes me.
Pause. You heard what you just said?
Huh?
You heard what you just said?
What?
That tier 3 is a quarterback that's just going to keep your team competitive.
No.
It may not be a playoff team,
Right.
but you know whose quarterback's in there?
I know, and that's
your quarterback.
That's what? Chill out.
Tua.
Chill out.
You just said, Corey. You just
I
said they
know.
may not be a playoff team.
And
what did me and Brandon say yesterday?
Huh?
What did me and Brandon say yesterday while we didn't have the Dolphins in our ranking?
This isn't my list, so I was going to end it with who I think I would have switched around.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, for real.
But
I'm
tier
in that
3,
same tier.
tier 3 are quarterbacks
be
that I
careful
think.
around Ashley.
Yeah,
boy.
for real, man. For real. You better watch your words. Be very intentional. But now, tier 3, like I said, they're going to keep their teams competitive, which is why, to Brandon's point, I don't think Geno Smith is in there because I think at this stage in his career, let me describe what tier 2 is. Tier 2 are quarterbacks that, regardless of who you put them on, I think they could take their teams to a playoff, which is why I think Geno Smith, these are always quarterbacks that are gonna be in the mix for a playoff spot. That's why I think Geno Smith should be in there. That's why I think, in my opinion, Tua should be in there with the team that he has now. And I also think Russell Wilson should be in there. I think it's crazy that he's tier 3. But yeah, like I mentioned, tier 2 are quarterbacks that are gonna be in the mix. They're gonna get their teams to the playoffs. Tier 1, they're always going to be on a team that's going to be competing for a Super Bowl. I think that's the best way to look at it, which is why, I don't know, man. I don't think Justin Herbert really should be in that tier 1.
I don't know, because tier 3, by your definition, I mean,
it could, but look, you
Jimmy Garoppolo has taken his team to the playoffs.
Right.
Plug and play.
I say competitive. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be a playoff team. You could have a losing record. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a tier 3 quarterback. But tier 2, like, you're always just going to be in the mix every year. Like, every year we're talking about the Cowboys making the playoffs. Every year since Lamar Jackson's been in the league, we talk about them making the playoffs. Same with Jalen Hurts. The Jaguars are becoming that type of team. Deshaun Watson, right? Like, I mean, with the group around him, Deshaun Watson's definitely that. And same with Kirk Cousins. So I like the tier 2 quarterbacks. But, yeah. Yeah, I don't know about
Well,
this.
okay, based on your definition, though, real quick, my biggest question mark, then, based on your definition, is Derek Carr.
He's 3.
But
he's going to keep his team competitive. He's not a starting.
You said that Tua is in tier 2 because of the team that he has around him.
Yeah.
Derek Carr has a great team around him now in New Orleans. Would he not be 2?
Yeah, you really about to have me putting.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. Yeah, Tua might be in 3.
I'm just
Tua
saying.
might be in 3. Tua might be 3. He might be 3. But Geno Smith and Russell Wilson have earned a tier 2 spot, in my opinion.
So listen, let me ask you guys this question before we move forward. At 21, tier 3, sitting at 21, you have Justin Fields. There's a lot of hype around him right now. You even had, I think, Greeny come out a day or two ago and say he is the next superstar in the NFL. Are you guys buying or selling?
Am I buying what Greeny is saying?
Yeah, are you buying that he's the next superstar, that he'll find his way in the tier 2, tier 1 after this year? Or are you selling it?
And that's whose name?
Justin Fields. It's hard because he plays in Chicago. Respectfully. Love Chicago. Dope people. Great food.
No disclaimers, Ashley.
Just saying. I would buy that stock if he didn't play in Chicago.
Okay. What's wrong with Chicago? The weather?
I just feel like that organization is not able to get it together for his benefit.
Right.
Like, I feel like they do a little bit of movement, a little bit of this, a little bit of that to make it a little better for him, but it's nothing drastic that's really going to take him and elevate him to the next level. I feel like he has to do a lot by himself to elevate his game and where he falls within the other quarterbacks of the NFL. So I'm borderline with that.
So I will say this, Ashley, I agree with you, and that's why I've always been critical of the Bears over the last few years. Love Chicago, played there, wanted to retire there, and I was inside of that organization, so I agree with you there. However, their new general manager, Ryan Poles, he's doing a phenomenal job. Look at all the moves that he made this year. And I love how he talks about his team. I love how he talks about Justin Fields. And then also the receiver, Corey, that they picked up from Carolina. What's his name?
Yeah.
So they have
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore, and they have, which they love. DJ Moore's having a phenomenal camp.
Yeah, he's wide receiver 1.
They're playing lights out right now. And also you have Chase Claypool. I think he's still on the PUP list. Yeah. Not sure if he came off yet. I think they have the weapons around him to get it done. The only question mark around the Chicago Bears offense right now, and it's a big one, is their left tackle. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's a very important player.
It's very important.
Very important player.
So if they can't protect him, then he's not going to have a chance. But, he came out this year and said, what did he say? He said, I'm guaranteeing that I throw for 4,000 yards or 5,000 yards. He said something.
4,000. I think it was
something wild.
4,000.
4,000 and rush 4,000.
I do like, though, that he now has a true wide receiver number 1 option. I think that's going to be a game changer. I agree. They have made moves. It's just about how they utilize those moves. They make me very nervous.
Brandon,
Justin Fields, by talent alone, is a tier 2.
Yeah.
And I think that if he were on any other team, he'd have already a lot more success than he does in Chicago right now.
Yeah.
Just because Chicago has not done right by him as some of the other teams have done right by their quarterbacks.
Right.
I mean, think of Joe Burrow, for example. Let's use Cincinnati as an example. Joe Burrow's first year, what happened to him?
He got
was getting
smacked.
He was getting hit.
smacked
I think it was
around like a
record amount
rag
of
doll.
sacks.
Not just his first year, his first couple years.
Really, first couple, yeah.
No,
because,
he's been hit more.
right.
than
No, but I'm
anybody,
really
right?
his
Yes.
first year really, and then
Right,
what did
right.
they do? They went ahead and they reconstructed that offensive line for him. Justin Fields has not had that
Right.
same luxury in Chicago. It's been a much harder process for him to get that team constructed in a way that is beneficial to his development. It's kind of how I felt.
agree.
It's kind of how I felt with Tua when he first got to Miami. Like that team didn't look like what it looks like now, and everyone was saying, "Oh, Tua's washed. It was a terrible draft pick." And I'm like, first of all, you pull him out every time he makes a mistake, and
right.
two, there's no team. Like, what do
Right.
you want him to? The team was in a rebuilding era. They got their quarterback, but the rest of it didn't exist yet. That's kind of how I feel with Justin Fields. I think that this year will be monumental in figuring out if Justin Fields can grow in the Chicago organization because they have the pieces that they need.
Great take.
Well, we've been rolling, but what we're going to do is take a break real quick. And when we come back, we're actually going to talk some basketball for the first time today.
Yay.
Kyrie Irving, had some interesting words for a Twitter account on social media. So we'll talk about that when we come right back.
So when I first got in the league, when I was in Denver, we had all these. DJ Williams used to be on the show. He was the one passing around the Vialysis.
Cialis and
The Cialis.
that's different.
Whatever
dog.
it's called.
No, we
Cialis,
talking about
Vialis.
surgery.
But we wasn't doing Viagra.
That
with
one is
that.
still
So what
fire.
happens is they was passing them out before the game. We was taking them because when it thins out your blood, energy, and you go longer.
I'm not talking about Cialis, and I'm talking about actual surgery.
Oh, what you saying?
Yeah, like enlargement.
Yeah,
surgery.
that's what I'm talking about, enlargement.
People be really
People
doing
be
that.
doing that?
Yes.
I don't know nothing about that.
No, see, y'all,
See, we talking about
y'all talking about something that's gonna keep it right for 36 hours.
Yeah. No,
Now,
yeah.
his motherfucker taking that shit, they can be that way forever.
Oh my God.
Yes.
In the league,
That's how you get
In the
suspended.
NBA?
That's how you get suspended.
people do that in the NBA.
Y'all
Y'all 6'7", 6'8". I thought like,
What does that have to do with anything?
is that a pause?
That's a major pause.
I'm just saying.
That's major.
Oh
I
my
never
God.
heard of that.
That was
He
kind of
said
OD.
the shoe size and
That
that
was
size
kinda
are not
OD.
clicking.
Ain't no OD.
Let's skip that
Ain't no
part right
OD.
there.
You heard he said I'm corny. I'm corny.
Let's get back to the basketball.
I'm secure in my manhood. Tell me I'm sorry.
Don't have surgery.
This is really happening right now?
Brandon. Like what? Yes.
Bro, let me tell you, ain't nobody getting suspended for taking Cialis.
But what's the problem? But okay, let's say they doing that. What you say they doing it. What's wrong with that? Why they gotta be suspended over that? If they feel like they need to be
Because it has something in there. It
Yes.
has a steroid
That
in there.
Ingredient. in
Same
it.
way
It's
if
a
you
steroid
take a
ingredient.
it'll
okay,
pop up
okay.
on a
Okay,
steroid
okay,
ticket.
yeah.
It's no
Okay.
different than in the NFL. I forget the player, but there was a player who was
I can't
trying
think of
to
their names.
trying to conceive with his wife, and she was going through, I want to say, in vitro, and she was going through the fertilization of her eggs, and he was on medication to, I think, increase his testosterone. Wasn't doing it to increase his performance. It was to have a baby, and he got suspended because the ingredient in there still comes up in a test.
Remember what Eddie Murphy said on Golden Child?
What he
They
said?
tried to sell him that stuff to help keep the yang up. What that boy say? Ain't nothing wrong with my yang.
So like I said before the break, we're finally going to hit some basketball for the first time
Well,
today.
before we do that, Corey, hold on.
Yeah,
hold
before
on,
we do
hold
that.
on. Brandon wants everybody to know that during the break,
Yes.
he went to the bathroom,
Yep.
What did
but he
do?
washed his hands.
Thank
Right
you.
here. Here's the evidence right here. You want to feel his way.
I don't want to touch that. Thanks.
I'm getting used to it. I kind of like this washing your hands thing.
It's different.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
we've been doing it for a few years now. It's kind of cool, you know.
It's all the craze, Brandon. It's all the craze.
Before
All the
COVID,
wave.
before COVID, it was hit or miss with me.
Jeez.
Telling you.
Yikes.
Shoot. And then another thing too, like when you really understand, like, well, I kind of understood this way back in the day, but like, get pink eye. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure you take care of yourself. Male hygiene is a big thing. We gotta learn. Like men be nasty.
Oh yeah.
Men is nasty.
People just.
Corey,
nasty.
you over here acting like everything cool with you in your world, like you just perfect. I don't believe it.
Corey don't have any issues, right?
Corey
Everybody trying to dig
Corey
something
does
up.
act like he doesn't have any weird kinks.
Right.
He doesn't have any weird habits. Weird, like he does do that. Like that's very American Psycho of him. It's not true.
Yeah.
Like he does think he just doesn't want to share
Y'all
with the
wanna
rest
hang
of
with
the
me? Y'all want to hang with me
bro.
for a full day?
You're
What's up?
narcissistic.
Wanna
We're
document
all
something?
like open and vulnerable on the set, and Corey's like, I don't have any problems. I'm
perfection.
perfect." Like, shut up.
Yo,
We don't believe you,
I be trying to be
Corey.
as vulnerable as I
That's
can,
up.
man. I be trying to spill it, but I don't know.
I
Ain't
know,
much to
Corey.
spill.
I know you do nasty things that you don't want to tell us about. That's fine.
Hey man, it's whatever. How about we
He's
talk
still
about Kyrie
single in
Irving?
these streets.
We're gonna talk about Kyrie Irving, right? So on Twitter yesterday, Basketball Forever, they had tweeted. They basically came up with this elaborate graphic to kind of lay out what Kyrie Irving's career has been since leaving LeBron James, and they started in 2018. So if we could throw that up there, it starts with, 2018. Let me see if I can. I can't really make that out. Let me see if I can make this bigger. In 2018, he was injured, missed the playoff. That was his first year with the Celtics. Then in 2019, the Celtics lost to the Bucks in the second round. 20 injured.
He
21
played for the Celtics.
injured. Yeah, I know, right?
That was a terrible moment.
Yeah. 22 swept. Was it by the lost in the first round to the Celtics last year? With the Dallas, his first year with Dallas, they missed the play-in. So Kyrie obviously didn't take this lightly, and he responded. He said, "Yo, pin this tweet and see what happens in the next few years." And then I think it's a word from a Swahili language that he added to the end of that message, and then several emojis he left underneath that. Yo, did Kyrie Irving cast a spell on this page right here? Like, what's up with this?
Listen, we talked about this yesterday,
Did he
Ashley.
cast a spell, Corey?
He smudged.
What did he do? What did he do?
Take it back. Let's see it.
It's a promise sign.
But what's
with
up
an
with that threat
infinity.
though?
It's a smudger.
Let's see what happens in the next few years. What's that about?
It's like fingers crossed. Like it's literally in his name also.
Where?
I don't know.
Next to
So
his name.
I'm looking it
Chief
up, and it
Hela?
says it
Hela?
means little mountain. That Gila right there, little mountain.
Yeah.
Listen, I ain't fooling with Kyrie. I like Kyrie. That's my homie.
Me
That's
too.
my
I
partner.
like Kyrie Irving.
You know what I'm saying? But I think he did cast a little spell. He walking around with those walking sticks. He's smudging and
Well, he's Native American.
yeah. Well, we all are.
No, we're not.
I was just come on. Stop before I start something. Stop.
We're not all
But
Native
yeah,
American.
but no, I think he believes in it's kind of what you believe in, the energy and
Mm-hmm.
rocks and
Crystals.
sticks. Rocks, smudging. You know what? We talked about this yesterday. I'm cool with smudging. I'm cool with what's the other thing they call it?
Saging?
Saging. I'm
well,
cool with
sage
that.
is you
It's-
smudge
that
with
is
sage.
smudge. Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
So saging
Yeah,
isn't
it's the same thing.
the verb. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm cool with all of that. I think he saged them.
Yeah. Nah, but to more on like a basketball tip, do you think he'll break this cycle this year? Do you think he'll actually be on a team that can make like a deep run? I mean, I think the Mavs, they are putting together a pretty decent team.
I think it's a very weird graphic to put up. Like, can we put that up again? And I don't think that it's sensational, I guess, but it doesn't tell the whole story. Like, okay, 2020 was a very weird year for basketball. It stopped because of COVID, and it started again in the bubble. Some guys didn't adjust to the bubble.
Kyrie didn't want to play.
Kyrie didn't want to play in the bubble because other things were going on. It was a very weird year. 2021, we talk about the Brooklyn Nets as a whole. The experiment failed from a multitude of angles. It didn't just fail because of Kyrie. It failed because of James Harden. It failed because James Harden ended up going to Philly. It failed because with the trade with Philly, they got Ben Simmons, and Ben Simmons couldn't play because he was dealing with back injuries. Then
Relationship between players and Steve
the
Nash.
relationship between the players and Steve Nash, the relationship between the players and Joe Tsai. Then you had the Kyrie Irving situation with, the tweet of the quote unquote anti-Semitic literature. Then you had Kevin Durant who got hurt. It was just a free-for-all of anything that could go wrong did go wrong. So while, yes, I get it, the fun thing is to go ahead and blame Kyrie. If you're going to tell a story, tell the story in its totality. And the totality of the Brooklyn Nets era was that it was not all his fault.
Right.
So I don't like using the Brooklyn Nets thing against him Boston was a little bit of a different story. He got hurt. He also didn't want to be there at a certain point. He made it seem like he was going to end his career there. That wasn't the case. Dallas, they missed the playoffs, but he did join that team middle of the season. Him and Luka have very similar playing styles, which is going to take time to figure out how to play together. That wasn't going to happen overnight. Time will tell if that duo can work together. But this graphic's a little anti-Kyrie. I'm not really feeling it.
So here's what I would say, Ashley. I do think that it's weird and it came out of nowhere. But to answer your question, Corey, as far as like, will he get it done in the next few years, right? When you see his comments beneath this graphic, I would lean towards no. And let me tell you why. Because you have the Denver Nuggets that's still sitting here. They're bringing back their core guys. Joker's going to continue to be a problem.
Okay.
Memphis Grizzlies, I'm not big fans of them, but they're going to give, the West some challenges. The Suns
It's going to be interesting, though. Remember, Jaws suspended for a quarter of the season.
I agree, but I still think that, I'm talking about over the next couple years.
Oh, okay.
Right. Even this year, I still think they're going to find a way to stay close and make the playoffs. I think they'll make the playoffs, and they'll give challenges, and Jaws going to have a chip on his shoulder. The Sacramento Kings, they came out, had a great year. There's more parity in the NBA. Can they do it again? If they can do it again, then yes, this parity thing is true. The Phoenix Suns is the team for me in the West. I have the Phoenix Suns, way too early prediction, coming out representing the West in the finals. Okay. Golden State Warriors, I like the Golden State Warriors. I actually like this move by the Warriors bringing in CP3. Some people might call me crazy, but I like it. I really do. So when you look at how the Western Conference is stacked up, now, even the short term, Los Angeles Lakers, they went out there, put together a team halfway through the year, right by the trade deadline, and they was able to build chemistry within 20, 30 games. They played well in the playoffs outside of going against the champions.
Right.
So, when you look at how the NBA and the Western Conference is stacked up, short-term, long-term, I don't see them breaking through. Now, I do believe the Dallas Mavericks are going to be a problem, right? Because before Kyrie got there, they were in the playoffs. He gets there, like what Ashley said, they have similar games. Luka's frustrated. Kyrie ain't really frustrated. He's just doing his thing. But they're tripping over each other. They can't figure it out. They go on a crazy run, like a losing streak. And I think that Kyrie signing back tells me that they sat down and said, okay, this is how we get over the hump. This is how we work together. Them two together, and Ashley, I know we talk about depth all the time, but there was one game where they both had 40 points. Never seen that in the NBA before. I think this could be a crazy dynamic.
Never seen what in the NBA?
Two guys score 40 points.
We've seen that before.
Kyrie,
on the same
actually.
team.
LeBron and Kyrie
did it.
Really?
When they were on the Cavs.
I stand corrected.
In the finals.
Let me live. Let me live.
It's kind of ironic that the guy we talked about
literally did it with LeBron James.
Damn, let me live. What did they do this year that was never done before? It was legendary. Well, I don't know if there was something, but you understand? You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I will say this is very rare. I'm reading here. It only happened 11 times.
It's
Oh,
rare.
damn, it happened 11 times.
11 times is never not happened before.
It's very rare, but it ain't never happened.
What? Damn, what happened to being you're not a good teammate. You're not a good teammate.
No, you're a bad teammate. We let you run with it.
I know, if we would have just let that
right.
rock, the people in the chat would have been like, Brandon's wrong. So
Yeah, but any given night, both of these guys could drop 40. Obviously, it's going to come down to who they have around them. I'm not subscribing to depth.
Well, I want to ask you guys though.
Not getting into that debate. Go ahead, Corey.
Actually, what did you identify as the biggest problem for the Mavs last year?
I think that one, they didn't have the pieces necessary to surround Luka and Kyrie. I think that a lot of them were traded for Kyrie. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a similar situation with Kevin Durant and the Suns. You lose a lot of your depth for one person. It puts a lot more strain on two guys, which makes you a top-heavy offense. I think also a similarity. I mean, also another situation is Luka and Kyrie have a similar playing style, which mean in the sense that they both like to have the ball in their hand. They're ball dominant. So when you have two players who are ball dominant, you have to figure out how to equally go ahead and share that basketball. And if you watch when Luka was on the team by himself, he used to run that shot clock out a lot before he would even attempt a pass. That's not how Kyrie likes to play basketball. So it's trying to figure out how to not completely change your playing style, but adhere it to a player who also is similar in the way that he likes to play. Also, Kyrie is somebody who likes to get in his stance and take a shot. He doesn't like to run and gun it like a Steph Curry. So with that, you need an adequate amount of time to get into your stance to get a shot. You can't do that if you have a Luka who likes to run that shot clock down to 2 seconds. That's not enough time to go ahead and get a nice shot. Kyrie can't play the game like that. They need to figure out an equilibrium between the two of them, and that wasn't going to happen in 3 months, 2.5 months of the season remaining.
Right.
This will be interesting this season. Now you had an entire off season. So, hopefully they're working out together. Training camp, preseason.
I don't know if they're working out together.
Okay, well you have training camp, you have preseason. It'll be interesting to see how they figured out that dynamic.
So let me ask you this question, Ashley. Where are they going to be come playoff seeding time?
I'll say it quick because I know. Well, I see your finger.
Thank you. I'm trying to get B Marsh. Go ahead. You're good. No, you're good.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was a 6, like a bottom tier playoff team, but I'm leaning towards more of this is a play-in team.
Play-in team.
Yeah, just because you look at the West, there's a lot of competition out there, a lot more complete teams. I wouldn't be surprised 6 seed, but I'm leaning more towards play-in.
Love it.
Yeah.
So, Woo, I think that's the show. Another legendary day. Is there anything you want to add before we go? Or do I just go right into see you tomorrow? What are we doing, Woo?
Well, I do want to ask, what is the uniform for tomorrow then?
Ooh.
Since you messed me and BC
Well,
up.
Want to go white?
We'll go lights tomorrow.
We can go white.
Let's go white
white.
tomorrow.
All right, BC, you
You
heard
got
it.
another white shirt you can wear?
Right. BC,
I'll find one.
don't be nervous. We got your mic and your video up
my
now.
mic is up, man. My mic sound
Look how
nice.
clean that is.
Your mic sound nice. What hat you gonna wear tomorrow, BC?
I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see. I'm gonna pull one out the batch.
There we go. That's BC in the booth. Ashley Nicole Moss, Corey in the cut. Woo out west. Mander legend who you'll never see. We saw his hand today in his chest.
We did, and his chains.
In his chains. That was it.
It's a good day.
Yeah,
That's all
maybe
you
we'll
ever
see
get.
one day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Love ya.